dangerous than superimpose on pre-existing QT prolongation, which is independent of the electrolyte disorder. An unusually short QT interval is also a pathologic finding, albeit an extremely rare one. The etiologies of this are hypercalcemia and the very rare congenital short QT syndrome. Both long QT and the short QT syndromes are associated with an increased risk of sudden cardiac death. So that's the grand summary of my systematic approach to the EKG. If you found that I went through some of the examples very quickly, or you want to know more about the EKG features of some of the gait prevention abnormalities, you may want to view my specific topic videos listed here. Please remember to like or share this video if you found it helpful or interesting, and feel free to leave questions or comments. This is lesson 12 in the series on fluid mechanics in medicine and the topic of surface tension. The learning objective of this video is to understand the concept of surface tension and how pulmonary surfactants improve respiratory mechanics. Whether or not you realize this, we see examples of surface tension every day, and it manifests in a wide array of common physical phenomena. One such example is how we can take a bowl, fill it with water, and float a piece of paper on top, despite the paper's density being greater than that of the liquid. Although this would seem to violate the principle of buoyancy, as discussed in lesson 2, it's something that everyone has observed at some point. Another example of surface tension is the tendency of water to form spherical drops instead of a continuous stream when flowing from a faucet at a relatively slow rate. The drops aren't perfectly spherical on Earth because of the effect of gravity and air resistance. However, water droplets in space, where these are not factors, do form perfect spheres. Here's another example. A small particle of water on a flat horizontal surface. Although it would seem that water should collect in puddles, that's only because it conforms to our common experience, not because it makes intuitive physical sense based on most people's knowledge of physics. Suppose that all we know about the puddle is that it is composed of countless individual molecules of H2O, and gravity is pulling each of those downwards to the lowest possible level, and if water as a liquid really flows based on the forces that are acting on it. If this was the extent of our knowledge of water, we would logically conclude that the puddle would continue to spread out in all directions until it had reached a depth of a single water molecule. That way each individual molecule would have obtained its state of lowest mechanical potential energy. Of course, it doesn't happen, but why doesn't it? It's a consequence of the intermolecular forces that were first mentioned in lesson 10 on viscosity. Although some of these forces are sometimes pulling and sometimes pushing molecules around, overall, there's a net electromagnetic attraction occurring between adjacent molecules in both liquids. This attraction pulls the liquid together until equilibrium is reached with other forces, in this case gravity. Surface tension is a measure of the contractive tendency that allows liquids to resist deformation by external force. For example, if we take this puddle and we very carefully place a paperclip on top of it, the paperclip imparts a force created by its weight on the surface of the water. This force pushes down on the surface, and this deformation of the water surface pushes apart the water molecules underneath the paperclip ever so slightly. If the sum of all of the attractive forces between the disruptive molecules is greater than the paperclip's weight, the clip will rest on the surface of the water. This is not a consequence of buoyancy, but rather of surface tension. Of course, our experience tells us that this only works for objects which are very light. In addition, surface tension is dependent upon properties of the liquid, the solid or liquid with which it interfaces, and the temperature. To understand how surface tension relates to physiology, it's important to describe something called the wall of Laplace. Imagine a hollow sphere made of some form of plant material like plastic, for example, and inside is a thin layer of water coating the inner surface. The scale of this thin layer is really exaggerated in this picture, but the layer of water is made up of individual water molecules, all of which are attracting each other. The net sum of the circumferential attraction is that the water is actually being pulled inward. If there is no enclosed gas, the water will contract down to the wall. However, if there is enclosed gas, the result is an increase in the pressure of that gas. The surface tension pulls the water inward until equilibrium is reached with the pressure pushing outward. The law of Laplace relates the surface tension to the enclosed pressure. It states that the pressure inside the spherical bubble is equal to 2 times the tension divided by the radius. Let's take a look in the lungs to see how this is significant. If we zoom way in, we will see that the two lungs are actually composed of roughly 1 billion sacs of air called alveoli, which are connected via an intricate branching network of air passages. Most of the details of this are not relevant to this discussion, other than to say that the alveoli are the site of the lungs where gas exchange occurs, and it's critically important that they stay open and don't collapse, or else oxygen will not be able to make its way into the bloodstream. So how is the law of Laplace applicable here? First, the lungs are a very moist place, and the insides of the alveoli are coated with water. Some alveoli may start off larger than others. Since the surface tension of water is independent of the size of the alveoli, based on the law of Laplace, a large radius results in a relatively low pressure, while a small radius results in a relatively high pressure. So when a patient takes a breath of air in, the air travels preferentially to the large alveolus with low pressure. Not only that, air could even travel backwards from the small alveolus with high pressure. The consequence of this is that large alveoli risk becoming overdistended, and small alveoli risk collapsing altogether, a condition known as atelectasis. Alveoli that have totally collapsed can no longer take part in gas exchange, leading to diminished ability of the body to take in oxygen. This is obviously not good, so the body must have a way to prevent this from happening. It does, and it involves something called surfactant. A surfactant is a compound which reduces surface tension when added to a liquid. Most surfactants are amphiphilic, sometimes called amphipathic, which means they contain both a hydrophobic and a hydrophilic group. Here's the structure of a surfactant called sodium zotacylbenzene sulfonate, which is a common component of laundry detergent. Here's a hydrophilic group and a hydrophobic group. What effect does adding surfactant have to water? We saw earlier that water has a tendency to form puddles due to its intrinsic surface tension. These puddles are relatively thick, depending on the surface it lies on, and that is because its surface tension is relatively high. If we take an identical puddle of water and to it add some laundry detergent, the surfactants within decrease the surface tension, the effect of which here will be to spread the puddle out further. Let's look at another situation. We're going back to Plato's dog bowl, and you can see that when it's filled with pure water, a carefully laid paperclip can float on top. For comparison, here's the dog bowl with spread spot, to which I'll also add some water. And we can result in a poison spot with water detergent, so instead of detergent, we can give a different surfactant. An interesting one to use is diethyl sodium sulfosuccinate, better known as docusate, or by the brand name of Colace. It's usually used as a stool softener, where its surfactant properties lead to increased incorporation of water into stool, making the stool softer and easier to pass. If we add docusate, which happens to be red, to the water, the surface tension decreases. Now the paperclip carefully placed on top won't float, and instead it will sink to the bottom. Let me return to the lungs to talk about pulmonary surfactants, which is a complex of lipoprotein formed by cells called type 2 pneumocytes, which line the alveoli. The notable constituent of surfactant is called DPPC, or more formally, dipomethyl phosphatidylcholine. This compound greatly reduces surface tension of the fluid coating the inside of the alveoli. Interestingly, unlike water, the surface tension of the mix of water and polymer surfactants is roughly proportional to the surface area over which it is spread. In other words, the power of surfactants with lower surface tension is most pronounced when the alveoli are smaller than when they are distended. Here are our two alveoli again, but the smaller one no longer has a relatively high internal pressure compared to the larger one. Instead, surfactant lowers the surface tension in the large alveolus by modest amounts, or it lowers the surface tension in the small alveolus by quite a bit. The fact that the surface tension in the small alveolus is particularly low offsets the effect of the smaller radius. As a consequence, the resulting internal pressure is low within both alveoli. So when air goes into the airways, both alveoli are inflated, improving gas exchange. So what are the net consequences of pulmonary surfactants? First, a reduction in the collapse of underinflated alveoli, otherwise known as atelectasis. Second, a more even distribution of ventilation amongst the alveoli, improving oxygenation. Third, it improves lung compliance. For the most part, a discussion of lung compliance falls outside the scope of this video. However, very briefly, lung compliance is a measure of how much the volume of the lungs change in response to a change in pressure. The lower the compliance, the greater the pressure difference that must be generated in order to exchange the same volume of air. A major contributing factor to lung compliance is the alveolar surface tension, which has a cumulative tendency to pull the lung in on itself and resist inflation. Therefore, surfactants increases lung compliance, reducing the amount of work a patient or ventilator must do during inhalation. The last major clinical development aspect of surfactant has to do with preterm births. In humans, surfactant is not reliably produced until about 34 weeks gestation. Therefore, premature infants born prior to this may have significant difficulty with oxygenation and ventilation, a condition called infant respiratory distress syndrome, not to be confused with adult respiratory distress syndrome, which is quite different. Treatment of infant respiratory distress syndrome consists of a combination of positive pressure ventilation and exogenous surfactants delivered to the alveoli via instillation into the airways while intubated. If a mother is suspected to be at high risk of preterm delivery, she can be given antenatal corticosteroids, which speeds up the infant's synthesis and release of surfactants. So that concludes this video on surface tension. It also concludes this 12-video series on fluid mechanics in medicine. I hope you found these videos interesting and useful. Please remember to like and share those if you enjoyed, and feel free to ask questions at video comments. Hello, I'm Eric Strong with Stanford University and the Palo Alto VA Hospital. This is a 3-part video series entitled A Guide to Clinical Reasoning for How to Create an Accurate Differential Diagnosis from a Patient's Presentation. The learning objectives of this video are first, to demonstrate a standardized approach to generating a focused differential diagnosis from a patient's presentation. Second, to create concise problem representations using semantic qualifiers and clinical syndromes. Next, to understand the types of frameworks to which the key features of a presentation should be applied. And finally, to know the categories of diagnoses which should be included in a differential. Unfortunately, literature and textbooks that discuss and attempt to teach clinical reasoning often fail because of dense terminology and a focus on abstract concepts that trainees find difficult to apply at the bedside with concrete examples. In this video, I'll be presenting an approach to clinical reasoning focusing on a differential diagnosis that is practical at the bedside, accessible to students and other novice providers, and minimizes unfamiliar terminology. Part 1 will introduce the clinical reasoning process, and Parts 2 and 3 will go through examples, start to finish, of how to apply that process to a real-world patient. Part 2 will be an example at the level of a preclinical student, and Part 3 will be an example at the level of an intern. I'm going to start by defining the term clinical reasoning. Clinical reasoning is a process by which a healthcare provider takes objective data acquired from an actual patient and interprets it using factual knowledge from a textbook or the medical literature in order to either make a diagnosis or develop a treatment plan. It isn't a single individual skill, but rather a collection of related skills. It involves interpretation of subjective data, evaluation of the accuracy and validity of data, synthesis of individual pieces of data into higher order groups, determination of the relevance of scientific literature for a specific clinical situation, critical evaluation of the arguments for and against diagnoses, application of biostatistics, and finally, integration of different types of knowledge into a complete decision-making process. Although clinical reasoning isn't just about figuring out the diagnosis, that will be the focus of this particular set of videos. I consider there to be 5 steps to generating a differential diagnosis. The first is to acquire data, and to do this, I recommend that you use all available sources. That includes first and foremost the interview and examination of the patient, but also diagnostic tests and chart review, focusing on the medication list, recent primary care notes, and recent discharge summaries.